One thing is clear. Omar Khan didn't just shop during the offseason. He went big game hunting. Big names, serious talent, and a real intent to flip the narrative in Pittsburgh. From bringing in top-tier weapons to giving this roster a much-needed jolt of excitement, he made it clear this wasn't going to be another year of mediocrity. But for every star name that's been added to the marquee, there's one player who keeps getting overlooked. And the thing is, he might just be the one who needs help the most. Now let's talk about that game against the Patriots. Yeah, the final score looked fine on paper, 21-4, a convincing win in Foxborough. But dig just a little below the surface, and you'll see one stat that jumps out in a ridiculous way. 18 carries for 47 yards. That's 2.6 yards per carry. That's the headline stat, right? But here's where it gets wild. Warren had 56 yards after contact. Let that sink in. He rushed for 47 yards total, but somehow had more than that after contact. That tells you everything you need to know. The guy is getting hit behind the line constantly. He's making defenders miss. He's dragging tacklers. He's doing everything you could ask for, and then some. But he's doing it with no help up front. You know what that tells me? This isn't just about poor blocking. This is about a scheme that's failing him completely. Whether it's the offensive line, not being able to execute Arthur Smith's wide zone approach, or a simple lack of push at the point of attack, it's clear something's broken. And the sad part is that Warren is paying the price more than anyone else on this team. He's out there running like a man possessed, putting up elite effort numbers in the middle of total dysfunction. Let's not sugarcoat it. This line has been a mess. You can watch all the film you want, run all the analytics you like, and it keeps coming back to the same problem. They're not giving their playmakers even a chance to make plays. And while we all talk about Aaron Rodgers needing time, or DK Metcalf needing targets, or Jonnu Smith needing to be utilized in space, the guy getting consistently punished for this offensive line shortcomings is Jaylen Warren. And if that doesn't make sense to you, you're not alone. Because it doesn't make sense at all. This team spent so much energy and money making the quarterback room better, adding weapons, reshaping the offense, but what's the point of all that if your running back is getting lit up the second he touches the ball? You can't stretch the field if you can't control the trenches. And right now, the Steelers can't. It's not just that the line isn't elite. It's that they're getting pushed around. They're losing battles in the most basic way. And when that happens, your entire offensive identity collapses. Let's go back to Warren for a second. 9 forced missed tackles. That's not just a good stat. It was the most by any running back in any game across the entire National Football League that week. That is elite production. That is Pro Bowl level grit. That is a guy doing everything in his power to tilt the game in his team's favor. But if you watch the highlights, if you just glanced at the box score, you'd never know. 18 carries, 47 yards. It's the kind of stat line that looks like he had a bad day until you see that he had to fight like hell just to get to those 47 yards. So here's the question that needs to be asked, loudly and repeatedly. What are the Steelers going to do to fix it? You've got this weapon, this absolute monster of a back who refuses to go down on first contact, who gets you yards that flat out shouldn't exist. And instead of building around that, instead of protecting that investment, instead of using him as a focal point, you're letting him run into brick walls week after week. That's not just frustrating, it's wasteful. It's organizational negligence. I've been pounding the table for this guy to get more snaps, not just as a tight end, but as an extra lineman. Let him be a sixth blocker. Let him help stabilize this mess up front. He's not being used in the passing game anyway, so why not unleash him as a force in the run game? He can block. He's huge. He's physical. He's athletic. He doesn't need to give up his position title. He can still run routes when needed. But most importantly, he could be a game changer in the trenches. If you're not going to get creative with your offensive line personnel, then at least cheat the system. Use Washington as a pseudo-lineman. Protect Jaylen Warren. Give her back a chance to explode. Because right now, he's generating magic from nothing. And that's not sustainable. At some point, those hits start to add up. At some point, that effort wears a player down. You don't want to wait until he's burned out before you finally decide to help him. And here's the thing. It's not just about Warren. Fixing the blocking helps everybody. It helps Rodgers. It helps the wide receivers. It helps the entire rhythm and flow of the offense. The longer you hold on to the ball, the more likely the play breaks down or the protection falls apart. But if you fix the front, suddenly everything clicks a little easier. And if you can't fix the line with the guys you have, then supplement them. Change how you line up. Add a sixth man. Make some noise with formations. Get creative. Do something. It's not like this problem is sneaking up on anyone. It's been there since training camp. It's been there through 3 weeks. Everyone can see it. And yet we're still waiting for some kind of real adjustment. And the excuse can't be we need more time or the scheme takes time to settle in. Time is not your friend in the NFL. You don't get to play the long game when your offensive line is already costing you drives, points, and possibly games. You got the bye week coming up after this overseas trip to Dublin. That's your moment to reset, to reevaluate, to get serious about protecting your stars. But why wait? Why not start now? Start by building your offense around what actually works. Jaylen Warren works. Period. He is giving you all the production you could ever hope for, even in the worst possible conditions. So imagine what he could do with just average blocking. Not elite, not top 5, just average. League middle type of stuff. Give him that, and he turns the corner from being a fan favorite to being one of the most feared backs in football. He's that close. So make it happen. Make something happen. You owe it to your running back. You owe it to your quarterback. You owe it to everyone on this offense who's doing their job and getting no support. Here's where things start to get uncomfortable, because fixing this mess might mean bruising some egos. It might mean rethinking your draft strategy. It might mean admitting that the guys you counted on just aren't delivering right now. And for a front office that has made huge investments on the offensive line in recent drafts, that's not an easy thing to do. But let's be real. When you have a first-round pick like Broderick Jones, when you trade up to get him, there's pressure. Not just on the player, but on everyone who vouched for him in that war room. You want to be right. You want to see it work. You want that investment to pay off. And that's where things get tricky, because football isn't about patience. It's not about long-term development plans. It's about winning right now. And if one of your first-rounders isn't cutting it, you need to be bold enough to make a change. Not later. Not after the season. Not after another 3 or 4 bad performances. Now, because the window to win in this league is razor thin. If you got Aaron Rodgers under center, you're not in a rebuild. You're trying to win championships. So if the left tackle is struggling and the guards are inconsistent and the scheme is failing, then you have to take a hard look at whether your loyalty to the draft board is costing you wins on Sunday. That's what makes the Darnell Washington idea even more appealing. It lets you reinforce the line without abandoning your young talent. You're not benching anybody. You're not tossing Broderick Jones or Zach Frazier aside. You're just helping them. You're admitting that this group needs help right now, and you're willing to get creative to provide it. And that's the kind of mindset this team needs. Less pride, more problem solving. Less wait and see, more act now. And if we're being honest, Washington shouldn't even be considered a luxury. He should be a core part of this offense, regardless of whether he's catching passes or not. Because his physicality, his presence at the line, his ability to dominate one-on-one blocks, that's rare. That's something that makes a real impact. The Steelers have long been a franchise built on toughness, on physicality, on imposing their will. That identity doesn't start with flash. It starts up front. It starts with bullying the guy across from you. And right now, they're not doing that. They're getting pushed around, and the only person pushing back consistently is a running back who weighs under 200 pounds. That's not sustainable. That's not Steelers football. You want to know why this feels so frustrating for fans? Because the talent is there. You can see it. You can see the playmakers. You can see the quarterback still has some juice. You can see Jaylen Warren putting up top-tier production despite the chaos around him. It's all there, right beneath the surface. But it's like watching a car with a Ferrari engine try to drive on 3 flat tires. Nothing's going to work until you fix the base, until the offensive line gets real, meaningful support. And that brings us back to the big question, what are they really willing to do about it? Are they going to wait and hope that things magically click? Are they going to keep feeding us empty coach speak about trusting the process and execution? Or are they going to look at the film, face the music, and say, this isn't working. We need to change something. Because if they don't, they're wasting time. They're wasting talent. And worst of all, They're wasting a golden opportunity with a roster that's got real potential. Let's talk about priorities, because every team in the league has to make them. Do you prioritize protecting the quarterback? Do you focus on opening up the deep passing game? Do you build around your best playmakers? There's no one right answer, but here's what's not up for debate. If your running back is getting hit before he even makes it to the line of scrimmage, everything else breaks down. There's no flow to the offense. There's no rhythm. Every drive feels like a struggle just to stay on schedule. You fall behind on early downs, you become predictable, and then the defense pins its ears back. It's a cycle that kills even the most talented offenses. And yet Jaylen Warren is still out there producing, still dragging defenders, still leading the league in missed tackles in a single week, still proving that if you just give him the slightest bit of daylight, he can change a game. So again, why not build around that? Why not make that your identity until the rest of the offense catches up? You don't need to abandon the passing game. You don't need to go full old school ground and pound. But you do need to recognize who your best players are and what they need to thrive. And Warren needs help. He needs protection. He needs blocking. Not just from the five guys up front, but from the scheme, from the play calls, and from the personnel packages. It's time to admit that what they're doing isn't working. Not well enough, anyway. And that doesn't mean you throw everything out. It just means you adapt. You get smarter. You lean into your strengths and stop pretending that everything will just work itself out. Because it won't. The AFC isn't going to slow down and wait for you to figure things out. Teams are already separating themselves. Contenders are rising. And the Steelers are still stuck asking the same questions about the same problems they had last year. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The rumor mill in Pittsburgh is heating up after a flurry of whispers turned into a very public announcement yesterday. Bourne has officially been unveiled as the newest weapon in the Steelers' offensive arsenal. For weeks, fans have been speculating about whether the veteran presence could finally inject some consistency into a unit that has been sputtering through fits and starts. And now, it seems, the wait is over. Inside sources close to the organization suggest that the decision to bring Bourne aboard was less about headline grabbing and more about a calculated attempt to round out the offense. Observers have noted that the Steelers have struggled with balance, often relying heavily on one-dimensional play calling, leaving fans on edge and analysts scratching their heads. The whispers around the locker room hint at an injection of energy and savvy that only a player with Bourne's experience could provide. What makes this addition particularly tantalizing is the timing. The Steelers' passing game has been criticized for lack of dynamism, while the running game has been hit and miss. Rumors circulating in the team's inner circle suggest that Bourne's arrival could bridge these gaps, offering not just versatility, but a spark that keeps defenses guessing. Some insiders are already speculating about new formations and schemes that could make the Steelers' attack feel suddenly cohesive, a unit that finally clicks. Fans, naturally, have taken to social media with a mix of skepticism and excitement. Could Bourne be the missing piece that transforms an ordinary offense into a feared one? Or is this simply another chapter in the perennial cycle of high expectations and cautious optimism that Pittsburgh supporters know all too well? Analysts on sports networks have been dropping hints that the Steelers may be preparing to unleash a more unpredictable attack, one that capitalizes on Bourne's unique skill set. While nothing is set in stone, the chatter around town is unmistakable. The era of guesswork may be over, and a more complete Steelers offense could be on the horizon. The real question is how quickly Bourne can adapt, and whether the whispers transform into tangible results on the field. For now, Pittsburgh watches and waits, buzzing with speculation, hoping that this gamble pays off in a season where every edge counts. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.